that's the truth of marriage,
It is.
because people don't see those the behind the scenes things. That's
Mm-hmm.
why when we go out and have fun and laugh, we know the battles we faced and we went through.
Yes.
And that's really what drew me to you. But it goes back to our foundation. Our foundation set the stage for us to have our hearts open
Yep.
and those things to come out, because
Exactly.
God said, I can trust y'all to go through this. I
Absolutely.
can trust y'all to have these hard conversations.
Yes.
I can trust y'all to deal with each other's past and say, you know what? They here for the long haul. That was, and I don't know how long this recording is. We're gonna keep going. I wanted to just ask you. This was important to me. You've always had a heart for men, and I felt that. Can you tell me, like, why was it so important? Because um, one of the things you always told me was you knew you were called to be a wife, and those things, and that's really besides your beauty and besides, you know what I mean, your heart, that attracted me to you. Just your view of life, your view of how to treat men, because there's not a lot of women out there that I've seen who think about men the way you do when it pertains to being a wife, or taking care of them, or having a heart for what men go through. It's almost like they abuse the men more.
Yeah.
And that attracted me to you because you understood, as a wife, you have to really help your husband in those areas and not add to the stress.
Absolutely.
Like, what gave you that such a heart for men?
I don't know. I think again, there's certain things that we're born with.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are born with something, and I think that was something that God placed in my heart. You know, even during the whole conception process, I've always been like that. But I've always, and even I'm going to say this, and it might sound strange. Even though I grew up in foster homes, I always knew that I was a daddy's girl, and I had a good father. Now, I know some people might be like, yeah, but he did this and he didn't raise you and he did, well, whatever. But that's not, even though I seen those, that wasn't my experience.
Mm-hmm.
My experience was every time I seen my father, I knew I knew I was his. My dad would brag on me, like, I just knew it. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew. And then when I was getting abused, my father beat up my abuser. So for a little girl, it's like, my dad is a hero. I didn't care that he could raise me or not.
Right.
That didn't matter. I knew if anything ever happened, I had a father. And I loved him. My father also had a disability. And I've always had a heart for people who have disabilities and different things like that. And maybe because my father had one, and I saw all the different things that he could not do because of his disability. Um, so I'm not really sure, but I know. And then all the men that I admired just growing up in my old church that I told you about. I mean, some of the strongest, humblest, God fearing men I've ever seen in my life. And their spirits, they were just so beautiful to me. And so maybe not having a father in my home, in the home, made me crave that even more. Of course, I made a lot of bad choices because of the foster homes and the abuse that I've endured and different things like that. But I made a lot of poor choices. That goes without saying when you grow up like that. But I also think um, women are important, and I think when you look at all the stuff that men had to carry, that's why I don't like this whole toxic masculinity and all this stupid stuff that's going around and trying to be equal with men or whatever. Like, I've boxed, I've done karate, I've done every sport you can think of. I love fighting, I love anything physical, but I'm not trying to compete with no man. There's something beautiful about being a man, just like there's something equally beautiful about being a woman.
Right.
And I think
Amen
when people appreciate that God did that,
yeah.
like he made two for a reason. He saw the beauty in the man. He saw the beauty in the woman, and he was like, "Man, they should see the beauty in each other. Let them see what I made, and let them celebrate it." And it is to be celebrated. It truly is. It's like, when women go through this, and women do that, and see, but men don't do this, and it's just like, okay, but what about all the things that men do that you can't do, that you don't do? And it's just like, why is it a competition? Why are we not uplifting? Like, you are a man. Like, I think it's a beautiful challenge for there to be a certain type of man in you, and for God to be like, oh, Shirley, I picked you to pull that out of him. It's like, oh, shoot. Now, does it hurt? Oh, yeah. Because there's some moments I'm like, God, why don't he just get it? But it's just like, oh, because I'm not in my rightful place. All right, let me get back to the drawing board. Father, I just thank you that my husband is this type of person. And I go back and to speak those things. And when it's not there again, it's just like, shoot, that's me. Oh, it's my turn. It's like my role. It's Shirley, it's your turn to be on set. Like, this is your line. And it's like, okay. And it's not about getting that credit, but it's something fulfilling. It's like when you raise your kids. When your kids grow up and they do good things, you want to brag and whatever. When you got knuckleheads, it's really hard to brag, and it's kind of embarrassing. And you kind of go back and be like, where did I go wrong? What did I do? Yeah. Whatever. But when you see good in things, people do want to celebrate what they've done. You work hard for something. It's like, yeah, I bought this house. You work hard. I mean, yes, God gave me the ability to do it, but I did that. And it's the same thing when you're becoming, and then ultimately the finished product, be when we're in heaven. But when I'm watching you become a certain type of man, I'm in the background and everybody's like, oh, Lamar, and I'm sitting there like, he preached something that I just taught him. He's saying everything that I done taught him. He's doing things that I done said, and it's sitting there and it's just like, let him take all the credit for it. It don't matter because I know I was a part of that work. Right. Whether they see it or not, or whether they believe it or not. And I just think it's just beautiful. I think men don't get enough breaks. I think there's a lot of systems that are unfair to men, completely unfair. And I think that, men don't get enough credit. And I think I want toxic masculinity. I want that. I need that. I'm not attracted to femininity at all. Maybe within myself, but I'm not attracted. I want masculinity. I want manly men. And so you got this whole thing going on out there about, we got to soften up men and all this. And I'm just like, but there's beauty in that. There's beauty in your aggression. There's beauty in when you and your boys get together and y'all start cracking up and hitting each other, falling all out and comparing who's better at this sport, whatever. But I think that's so cute. I love that.
And it's a freedom. I ask that because I know how I felt, and being with you, I'm able to be free. And when the man's able to be free, he's really able to do what he needs to do for the family. Like, you never put me in a box. You never tell me how to be a man or what to do. You just pray for me. So in that facet, I'm able to really step in and hear from the Holy Spirit and do what I can do. Even if I make a mistake, I know you got my back.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why it's hard for a lot of men to rise up to the occasion, because they always got a woman in their ear nagging them, or they always got a woman in their ear telling them what they're not doing or telling them who they should be. I remember you told me, like, listen, I like you in suits, but I also like you when you working hard, when you working with your hands.
Love it.
And that's dope because as a man, I've always wanted to just be me.
Yeah.
I knew I can throw on a suit and be dope in the suit, but I also like to just throw on basketball shorts and a t-shirt. Like, and when you tell me I look good in the basketball shorts and t-shirt, it's like you accept me for me.
Absolutely.
And I knew being with you, I was able to be me, and that allows me to blossom because I never had to put on no face. I can chill around the house and not feel like I'm gonna be judged for
not getting a shave.
Quote unquote, not getting a shave. You the type of like, oh, I like the scruff. Keep it. Oh, don't get your haircut. And it's like when you allow yourself to be free in the boundaries of a marriage, that frees you up to really do things, and it doesn't leave room for anything else. And you begin
to trust each other with your heart in a different way. Yeah, but we can always do a part 2.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a part 2 because we just gone, but
or maybe ask some of the things you want us to talk about.
I just wanted to have my wife on. I wanted to just talk. I mean, we live intentional on purpose. This is what God gave us. This is what our business is and how we live. So I just thought it was fitting for us to just come on and share what intentional on purpose is. I mean, whatever we talked about, it wasn't scripted or staged, but these are the conversations you should have in your marriage. This is how God has called us to live. So,
and maybe you can put in the comments, what are some of the things that you do to live intentionally on purpose, and then you can also drop in the comments maybe some of the things you would like to see us talk about, or because we'll tell you, we are an open book. I mean, the whole point of going through what we've gone through and doing, all the wrong choices we made and everything we did is to help other people, and then we share it with you guys, and then you guys share with us some of the things, and we can just go from there. But thank you for interviewing me.
You're welcome. We're about to go ahead and get into some other things right now, but
do what Mary
we just want to, like my wife said, if you want to ask us anything, ask us questions. We've been through a lot, and we just want to be there to just offer some support, talk about the things we've been through,
and learn from you guys. Learn from you guys.
We want to have some of you guys on, so just interact with us. Drop some comments. Let us know what you want. But thank you guys for
And
subscribing.
let us know what you liked about this conversation.
Yeah. Y'all see this cut though? Check this out real quick before we get off. Look at this design. I mean, my girl hot, right? You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to drop some fire emojis in there or whatever. But thank you guys. We love you. We appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Have a blessed one.